Hayao Miyazaki was born on January 5, 1941, in the Bunkyo Ward of Tokyo, the second of four sons in a family whose livelihood was entangled with aviation. His father, Katsuji Miyazaki, managed Miyazaki Airplane, a factory that milled rudders for the A-6M0 fighter. Although the young Hayao would later cultivate a fierce pacifism, the smell of machining oil and the sight of skeletal airframes under construction formed his earliest aesthetic memories. Machines were beautiful, fragile things, and war was the great obscenity that misused them. When American firebombs rained on the capital in March 1945, the family evacuated first to Utsunomiya and then to the rural town of Kanuma. The journey was seared into the boy's mind by a tableau he has recounted for decades. A truck full of fleeing women and children, half hidden by smoke, pleading for water as their home city burned. Powerlessness in the face of catastrophe and the moral demand to respond imaginatively afterward would become a lifelong thematic core. Back in a rebuilt Tokyo, Miyazaki entered elite Gakushuin schools, absorbing a curriculum steeped in post-war humanism. His mother, Dola, spent nearly a decade bedridden with spinal tuberculosis. Her fierce intellect and sardonic wit filtered into the strong-willed maternal figures that populate his films, from the sky-pirate matriarch of Porco Rosso to the sharp-tongued Yasuko in My Neighbor Totoro. At Gakushuin, he devoured Osamu Tezuka's manga, but dreamed first of becoming an aerospace engineer, sketching piston engines in the margins of his notebooks. That dream shifted in October 1958 when Toei Doga released Japan's first color feature animation, Hakujaden. Miyazaki, 17 and sitting in a half-empty Asagaya cinema, watched a hand-drawn dragon coil across the screen and decided, abruptly, irrevocably, that moving pictures could marry his mechanical fascination with the narrative force of literature. He joined Toei in April 1963 with a political science degree from Gakushuin University, a quixotic resume for an in-between animator earning 19,500 yen a month. The studio was a hotbed of young Turks who moonlighted as Marxist activists. Labor union meetings ran as intensely as story conferences. Miyazaki quickly emerged as a leader in both realms, championing wage reforms by day and red-penciling key animation by night. During production of Horus, Prince of the Sun, 1968, he forged an alliance with the film's director, Isao Takahata, and background artist Yoichi Kotabe, spending after hours in smoky Asagaya cafes arguing about montage theory and Soviet animation. Horus flopped at the box office, but became a critical lodestone. Its long takes, environmental dynamism, and rejection of simplistic evil would inform every Miyazaki project thereafter. Restless amid Toei's factory-line sequel model, Miyazaki and Takahata defected in 1971 to A-Pro, then to Nippon Animation, storyboarding television adventure serials such as Asterisk Panda, Go Panda, Asterisk, 1972, and Heidi, Girl of the Alps, 1974. These series were laboratories where Miyazaki honed layout techniques, multiplanar tracking shots, weather as emotional counterpoint, and point-of-view cuts that mimic a child's scanning gaze. In 1978, he directed his first full television series, Future Boy Conan, blending propulsion system schematics with Rousseauian island utopias. The show's resourceful orphan hero, swinging between rusting warships and wind-powered gliders, previewed the Miyazakian archetype, a youth pulled between technological wonder and ecological conscience. His feature film debut came in next year with The Castle of Cagliostro, a caper that reimagined Monkey Punch's lascivious thief Lupin III as a chivalrous rogue. While modest at the Japanese box office, the movie's fluid car chase, 1,000 drawings animating a Fiat 500 careening down switchbacks, astounded future Pixar and Disney animators. It also proved Miyazaki could deliver a commercial product on schedule, a credential that secured backing when he pitched an adaptation of his own manga, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. Serialized in Animage beginning 1982, the manga was an epic meditation on entropy, featuring fungal jungles digesting industrial toxins and giant arthropods policing nature's balance. The film version released in March 1984, just weeks after industrial methyl isocyanate killed thousands in Bhopal. Audiences read prophecy in its poison landscapes. The movie grossed 1.48 billion yuan and convinced Takuma Shoten and Takuma Broadcasting to bankroll a permanent studio. Studio Ghibli opened its doors in June 1985 in suburban Kagane. Its name pilfered from an Italian reconnaissance plane, the Caproni CA.309 Ghibli, and symbolizing the hot Saharan wind that would shake up anime. The first Ghibli project, Laputa, Castle in the Sky, 1986, fused Jonathan Swift with Jules Verne and set a new domestic record for animation layouts, each keyed by Miyazaki's own graphite line. My Neighbor Totoro, 1988, followed, released as the B-feature to Takahata's harrowing Grave of the Fireflies. While initial receipts were lukewarm, Totoro plush toys unexpectedly exploded in popularity, ultimately underwriting the studio's finances and embedding Miyazaki's giant forest spirit in a global pop culture as a gentler cousin to Disney's Mickey. Kiki the Teenage Witch took flight in 1989, carrying the first Joe Hisaishi score recorded with full symphonic strings. Kiki's Delivery Service became the highest-grossing Japanese film of that year and proved that female coming-of-age stories could anchor big-budget animation. Yet Miyazaki was already brooding over the Balkan Wars, the Tokyo bubble economy, and his own nostalgia for a pre-Jet Age Europe. Those anxieties crystallized in Porco Rosso, 1992, where an Italian World War I ace, transformed into an anthropomorphic pig, flees fascism amid Adriatic cloudscapes rendered in watercolor blues. The film, released in the wake of the Gulf War, interrogated militarism with melancholy and wit. Miyazaki's next auteur swing would be his most ambitious. Obsessed with ancient Yakushima cedar forests and the silted rivers around iron ore smelters, he conceived Princess Mononoke, 1997, as a mythic confrontation between industrial progress and primordial gods. Its production consumed 144,000 animation cells and nearly bankrupted Ghibli. The gamble paid off. Mononoke shattered Japanese box office records previously held by E.T., earning 19.3 billion yen and capturing the national mood of environmental reckoning. Disney's newly minted distribution deal, spearheaded by John Lasseter, brought Ghibli films overseas uncut, a stipulation famously emphasized by producer Toshio Suzuki sending Miramax's Harvey Weinstein a katana with the note, "No cuts." International acclaim peaked with Spirited Away 2001, which minted $395 million worldwide and won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. Conceived after Miyazaki observed his friends' listless preteen daughters vacationing in resort towns, the film's bathhouse of Shinto spirits offered a critique of consumer stupefaction and a celebration of liminal resilience. Its hand-inked soot sprites and train gliding over flooded plains mesmerized audiences from Tokyo to Toronto, solidifying Miyazaki as the first animator since Walt Disney capable of moving global box offices on name recognition alone. Even triumph could not blunt his habitual disenchantment with modernity. Cigarettes and marathon storyboard sessions strained his health. Each feature ended with a press conference announcing retirement. Yet ideas kept bubbling. In a post-9/11 world, he returned to aviation reveries with Howl's Moving Castle, 2004, partially motivated by anger at the Iraq War. Its shape-shifting wizard and walking turret condemned perpetual warfare while indulging Baroque design. Ponyo 2008 responded to Fukushima's precursory anxieties with an aquatic fairy tale animated in bold crayon colors, explicitly eschewing computer compositing in favor of 170,000 hand-drawn frames to prove that analog crafts still breathed. In September 2013, at the Venice Film Festival, Miyazaki again declared retirement after releasing The Wind Rises, a fictionalized biography of Zero designer Jiro Horikoshi that doubled as a valedictory meditation on creation and responsibility. Yet he spent no time golfing. Dissatisfied with CGI sterility, he supervised a CGI short, Burrow the Caterpillar, 2018. Then found himself storyboarding a feature inspired by Genzaburo Yoshino's 1937 children's novel, How Do You Live? Production inched along at 1 minute of finished animation per month. So slow that producer Suzuki joked the film's budget was whatever it cost to keep Miyazaki alive. Released without trailers or plot summaries in July 2023 under the English title The Boy and the Heron, the movie wove semi-autobiography, wartime trauma, and cosmological yearning into visuals of collapsing towers and avian humanoids. At 83, Miyazaki became the oldest director to win the Oscar for Best Animated Feature, his second competitive statuette. Throughout this marathon career, Miyazaki has wielded animation as moral philosophy. He refuses modern conveniences, no email, no computer at his desk, and storyboards entire films alone, watercoloring thousands of postcard-sized panels that dictate camera movement and dialogue timing. He reads Rachel Carson, consults Edgar Allan Poe, and rails against Japan's otaku infantilism even as his studio shops fill with branded merchandise. He has marched against nuclear reactors, donated 300 million yen to reforest Fuchinomori Park, and scolded the Japanese Diet for amending pacifist Article 9. At the Ghibli Museum in Mitaka, which he personally designed down to the brass doorknobs shaped like acorns, a spiral inscription admonishes visitors: lose your way, find your own road. His personal life remains guarded. He married fellow animator Akemi Oda in 1965. Their elder son, Goro Miyazaki, trained as a landscape architect before directing Tales from Earthsea, 2006, and the 3D series Ronya, The Robber's Daughter, 2014. Father-son creative tensions spilled publicly, yet Hayao ultimately praised Goro-S from up on Poppy Hill, 2011, as magnificent during a tearful press screening. He continues to commute by bicycle to Studio Ghibli each morning at 8 o'clock, sharpening colored pencils, smoking a hand-rolled pea cigarette, and complaining that young animators draw too cleanly. In staff meetings, he is feared and beloved, quick with volcanic fury over a sloppy in-between drawing, equally quick to cook barley tea and share sardonic jokes about the decline of civilization. Today, Miyazaki's hand-drawn skies hover over a planet of digital screens. Totoro looms on Air Nippon jets. Spirited Away is standard fare in university film syllabi. Environmental NGOs quote Princess Mononoke in campaign brochures, and the phrase Miyazakian has become global shorthand for any artwork that fuses ecological reverence, flight imagery, and quiet feminism. Scholars debate whether his films represent Shinto animism or humanist existentialism. Fans simply feel, with visceral certainty, that the rustle of wind through animated leaves means something true. As climate crisis and technological acceleration unsettle the 21st century, Hayao Miyazaki's oeuvre offers neither escapism nor despair, but a stern invitation. Confront ruin, cherish small mercies, and keep moving forward, perhaps on a rickety broomstick, perhaps inside a hulking steampunk castle, powered by the inexhaustible engine of imaginative empathy.